Hi, this is Anne Marie Moss with the Oregon Farm Bureau, and welcome to this episode of Fred Talks.
And I'm Jon Iverson. I'm a third-generation family farmer from Woodburn, member of Clackamas County Farm Bureau, but I'm also the newly elected American Farm Bureau Young Farmers and Ranchers Committee Chair.
And congratulations are in order for that, Jon. That is a huge honor, and we're so proud of you. Tell us a little bit about what that is.
I've spent a year on the National Committee. So the National Committee is made up of 16 appointments from across the country, young farmers and ranchers from pretty much all over. I was fortunate enough to be elected by that body to represent them as chairman. It's an honor because it's such a great group of individuals, and to have their faith in me, it meant a lot. So pretty excited for the opportunity.
For those who don't know, what is YF&R?
Young Farmers and Ranchers. It's a group within Farm Bureau, so everyone is a Farm Bureau member. That really focuses on the age group between 18 and 35, so younger farmers, as the name implies. And our main goals are really to build up those young leaders, leadership experience within Farm Bureau, help them as producers become better agriculturalists, also give them the networking. I'm going to steal this from discussion meet winner from Idaho this year. She said, Farm Bureau's net worth is in its network, and YF&R is a great way to network. In Oregon, it connected me with young farmers from all across the state, and now nationally, I have connections all over the country. So that is a big part of what YF&R is all about.
So much of Farm Bureau, it's interesting because we represent all of agriculture, be it at the county level or the state level or the national level. You've got farmers and ranchers raising all types of crops and animals coming together.
That is what's really neat about Farm Bureau, is it represents all of ag, and we do our best not to pit one ag producer against another. We try to represent everyone as equally as possible. So even if you're a small farmer with 1 to 2 acres, or you're a farmer that has 10,000 acres, your voice really has the same weight in Farm Bureau. We want to represent you and make sure that your operation is able to survive and make sure you have access to tools you need to be successful. The National Committee really mirrors that. Again, farmers from all over the country, and everyone's background is different, and it's really neat because you can draw on other people's experiences and really learn a lot about ag. And I've been finding that's one of the biggest benefits of being on this committee, is just learning how an ex-dairy person from Wisconsin, what are their challenges, what are their issues, and most of the time our issues are all very similar. But then there's times, I don't have a whole lot of livestock knowledge, and so I'll lean on some of those producers more for issues that I don't quite understand. And so it's nice to have that diversity within Farm Bureau to share all those experiences.
As chair of the American Farm Bureau YF&R Committee, what are some of the things you're hoping to achieve?
A lot of young farmers would be technically considered part-time farmers because they have to have a job off farm to cover their health insurance or pay the bills. And so one thing I really want to make sure is they're reaching out to those people that are not considered bona fide farmers, but are very vested in agriculture. Another one is mental health. Obviously 2020 has been a rough year for a lot of people. And farm depression and farm suicide's been pretty high, even before this year. And so just making sure that farmers know that there's resources available. I mean, it's been kind of a taboo thing in the farming community. You want to be a tough guy and not really share your feelings. And I understand it's not easy to go tell somebody that you're struggling, but making sure that they know that they're not the only ones struggling with these hard times, and that there is help available, and that the community really wants to support them. So that's a big issue for me.
American Farm Bureau has that Farm State of Mind website with
Correct.
A lot of resources, including training for someone on like how to broach the topic or find warning signs and other things, because that is a serious problem in rural communities.
One of the things we've started is Ag Connect last June. So any YF&R member in the country is more than welcome to join. We'd love to have you. And it's just a 1-hour Zoom meeting. Usually we start with a topic. Say like November, we we did a turkey farm since it's Thanksgiving was coming up. So we had a tour of a turkey farm, and he talked about his operation and challenges he has, opportunities he sees. And then at the very end, then we break up and we have time for networking. So then we go in the little breakout rooms and you get to meet other young farmers from across the country. So those have been really successful. Topic varies month to month.
That sounds really cool. So I believe one of the Ag Connect topics kind of leads us into the next goal of yours. Isn't there something about global connection that you're focusing on that's also a topic?
Yeah, the last Connect we had was actually led by the Canadian Young Farmers Forum, which is the Canadian version of Young Farmers and Ranchers. Started a really good connection with them. They've always sent the exec team from the National Committee to their conference, and they send theirs down to our conference. We're trying to make that connection stronger because we do share challenges, even though we're in different countries. I believe international travel is really important. I spent 3.5 months working on a farm in New Zealand and learned a lot, and would like to see if we can connect with other young farmer organizations from around the world and make some of these connections and hopefully create exchanges where we can send farmers to their country and they can send farmers to our country, where we can collaborate more on issues that are actually worldwide issues.
That's very cool. And so what is your final priority as your chair?
The big carrot that came with getting elected is I do have a seat on the American Farm Bureau board now. So that's a pretty big prize. I have a quick term, it's only 1 year. Really, my goal is to represent all of young farmers and ranchers on that board and make sure they have a voice. I think it's important to have a young voice on there, since those decisions will impact me for the next 4 years and other young farmers as well.
I'm sure you'll do a great job giving a voice to YF&R, the members and the program on the national board. Kind of switching gears a little bit, why do you love working in agriculture, Jon?
The job's always different. I really like sitting in a tractor and working ground or planting something and seeing it grow and getting it to harvest. To me, there's no other thing I'd rather do in the world. And so trying to get that crop to finish and it is really rewarding to me. One of the bonuses is the people you meet in agriculture. I mean, everyone for the most part is super friendly and really open to sharing. And, even though I'm growing grass seed and there's other farmers growing grass seed, I feel like we come together and we share our successes or things not to do. I think the community is really usually open to people if you're open to them. So that's been, one of the highlights is the people you get to work with.
Yeah, and your farm is very diverse. Can you share with us all the different crops you grow on your 3rd generation farm?
Yeah, it's ever changing. The current crop makeup right now, we grow a lot of grass seed, tall fescue and perennial ryegrass for turf grass seed. So like, think parks or school fields or football fields is where those seeds go. We grow some annual ryegrass, which I'm sure goes to either the cover crop market or the forage market. So, crop farmers grow to make sure they have something covering the ground year round or going to animal feed. We also do a lot of other cover crop seeds. So right now we grow about 200 acres of hairy vetch, which is a legume. So similar to peas, but it fixes nitrogen in the soil. So it's a really healthy cover crop, especially in a mix with something else that helps capture that nitrogen. We grow clovers off and on for similar reasons. We use some squash. It's ground up to the pulp for food, and then eating pumpkin seeds. We also do industrial hemp, which is new to us. In 2016, we started growing that. And so that's all for oil production. We have tulips, which we used to do for cut flowers, and now a majority for our tulip festival. We do pick a little bit for a few sales, but majority is for people to come out and enjoy. So that's a big part of the farm is our agritourism with the tulip festival. We do a few grapes. We do some. We have a custom wine maker. We make some wine grapes, and we have some table grapes. And we're always trying a few new crops. We're currently playing with a couple oilseed crops.
So it keeps you busy year round, I assume.
Yeah, there's always something going on. Luckily, I farm with my aunts, my dad, 2 uncles, and then I've got a couple cousins going on. So we each kind of have our roles on the farm. So even though it sounds like a lot, it's not like ever too much of a burden. Everyone kind of has their roles and works together pretty well. So I manage the rotations, contracts for the grass, we vetch. I do all the spraying, I do all the fertilizing, make those recommendations. So really use my degree from Oregon State and then my experience as an agronomist. I use all the time on the farm.
You're a perfect example of how farmers not only do their jobs raising crops or animals, but also having to advocate for themselves.
And as a big part of what we do in YF&R is help teach farmers to tell their story and how to be a good advocate, because people are interested in what you do and why you do it and how you do it. And so again, that is a big role of YF&R, is helping people tell their story and giving them confidence to tell their stories. And then when it comes time to advocating, percentage of population that's in farming is very small. And so lawmakers all the time are becoming more and more removed from ag, and so they don't understand why you're doing something. There's sometimes a misconception that we're out there polluting the environment or we don't care about the environment, but be honest, if I'm wrecking my environment, my crops aren't going to do well. I'm the 3rd generation on the same land. It's very important that we keep everything healthy and happy and productive, so I can pass on to the next generation.